Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Rod Shop. Last time we destroyed this $500 Edge Silver Widow spinning rod because it is beautiful, but it fishes like crap. So today we're going to put it back together and make it fish like a $500 rod should fish. So stick around. Okay, in the last video, we took the end of the butt cap off with basically a hacksaw. It's my demo saw with a very fine blade in it. I clamped it down out in the dirty side with cardboard and just F clamps, and took it carefully, cut this piece off, exposed the center, drilled it out to where we have found the inside of the blank. And it's pretty well centered on that. Today, we're going to glue in our extension. We're going to glue in an accent piece that goes over it. And we're going to arbor up and glue in the extension trim piece, the butt cap. And then we'll start doing the epoxy to hopefully make this carbon fiber weave expand. It's going to look a lot bigger when you get probably what winds up to be a 1/2 inch thread finish on it. And we'll see how it looks. So y'all stick around. All right, let's get some sticky stuff out and go to mixing this stuff up. Need a plate. I need some paper towels, alcohol, some bigger paper towels, and a couple of popsicle sticks. This piece is going in first. This is just an old blank I had. I cut a piece off on a bandsaw. That's the one thing I have found about cutting carbon fiber. The easiest way to do it is I've got a cheap benchtop bandsaw out there in the dirty side, and it just with a little miter gauge, and it's not that accurate, but we're not talking about building fine pianos in here. It cut it pretty much 90. I got a little burr on it I got to take off, so I'll do that just real quick here. And you're not going to see this end, but I want to make sure it is as square as possible. So when I glue it up on here, we get, it stays straight and true down the blank. Now, I don't know how well it's going to line up because I don't know how. It doesn't look like this handle was perfectly centered on the rear of the blank here, but we'll see when we start gluing all this stuff up how well we can make it line up. And if it's going to droop a little bit, I will probably droop it down to the bottom. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when we start gluing. So let's mix up a few ounces, or let's mix up a little bit of the 10-minute epoxy paste. Not going to need that much. That's probably going to be more than enough for what we're going to do in this stage. A little bit of the white part. Let's get some light. Try not to blind you guys and bad glare, but like I've told you several times before, the correct lighting for building a rod is not necessarily the correct lighting for filming someone building a rod. So I kind of have to balance the two, because this is a production rod shop. It is not necessarily a production YouTube video shop. So let's mix it up. Just get it where you have one color and not two. It turns into like a bubblegum pink when you got it mixed properly. Okay, so first thing I want to do, I'm going to put a little bit of epoxy on the extension piece. And yeah, I did not push this into the blank as far as normally I would do an extension, but this is a light rod, so you're not going to be fighting, you're not going to be dragging fish out of the snot with this rod. It's going to mostly be a topwater, I would assume. That's what my client's going to use it for. It's just so light. Maybe open water, trick worm, open water, Cinco, something like that. Let's make sure we get plenty of epoxy in there. I want to make sure we got a good coat. Alright, so let's stuff it in. I'll take this excess off. Alright, that's step one. Now, I want to arbor up for the extra piece here. The piece that you're actually going to see. It's got a nice carbon fiber design on it. That's perfect. We'll arbor up the other end here. That's going to work just fine. Now we need to arbor this piece. Getting really close. Couple more turns and that's arbored up. Alright, that's nice and snug. So what we'll do is we'll glue this piece on. And then we'll glue this piece on. The only thing left to arbor up is the pin. I'm going to use a different size. Glue this up before I lose this epoxy. Yeah, the stuff's getting sticky. Okie dokie. So I'm still arbouring up this pen. That stuff is toast. I have to mix up another batch to finish this off, but kind of figured that was going to happen. My 1/4 inch masking tape here. Arbor up this pen. There we go. Perfect. Okay. New popsicle sticks. And don't need very much this time either. So we're going to mix up about that much. It's about the same amount. Okay, now get this coated very well. And I'm going to do a little bit of a epoxy work here. I normally do the liquid with this, but just got to make sure I keep the rubber piece on there. I use the liquid only because it's easier to clean up. But I've got this mixed. And honestly, I didn't think about it ahead of time. And I want to go ahead and get this glued up. So let's pop the rubber piece in. It went in fine. Still just a smidge of cleanup on it. And then we'll actually do a little glue up in here. Just make sure we get epoxy on all the surfaces we need to get it to stay in place. Then I want epoxy in here. Don't make a mess, Lee. Pop that in there. A quick cleanup on that. And then I'm going to take the rest of this epoxy and stuff it in this hole. Okay. Now we'll clean up this edge because that edge will be exposed if this goes together and finishes off like I would like it to. So let's put it together. Keeping that full. Okay. So the first video, we cut the end off, figured out how to extend this blank so it makes it a more fishable rod. It's a beautiful rod, and I don't want to destroy that. I know for me, function is more important than the way it looks, but this is already a beautiful rod, so I don't want to. I don't want it to look tacky, honestly. I do want it to fish well, and I want it to look nice. So we've got the structural part of the balancing and extending done. The only thing left to do is to make it look right from a appearance and an aesthetic standpoint. So that's what we'll be working on. So next time we'll make it pretty. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.